All right, let's talk about something really interesting today. We're going to explore a really unique way of looking at the connections we have in our lives. It's from a framework called Arreqqana, and it's all built around this beautiful idea of the sacred thread, that invisible, energetic line that connects all of us.
So let's just jump right in with the big question, the one this whole framework wants us to ask. I want you to think about a specific connection in your life right now. Could be anyone. And just ask yourself this. Is this bond sacred, or is it kind of misaligned? It's a really powerful self-check to find some clarity.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, it's super simple, really. It's a 9-question self-check about that bond you're thinking of. And for each question, you just answer honestly. Is it a strong yes, a somewhat, or a strong no? The only rule is to be real with yourself, This is all about finding out your own energetic truth.
So you've got your answers. What does it all mean? Well, if you got mostly A's, that points to sacred clarity. That's a great sign. It's an energetically clean connection that really honors your spirit. If you got mostly B's, that suggests thread tension. That's your intuition telling you something feels a little off, a little unbalanced. It's a sign to not ignore those gut feelings. And if you have mostly C's, that's a signal of energetic misalignment. That means this bond might actually be draining you, and it's probably time to hit the pause button and take a closer look.
That quiz is kind of like a quick check-in, right? A personal snapshot. But what's the big idea behind it all? Well, that brings us to the core of the Arreqqana worldview, which is all about understanding the energetic exchange in our relationships.
And this is where things get really different from what many of us were taught. A more conventional view often gets caught up in rules and judgment. Is this act right or wrong? But the Arreqqana view, it's not really concerned with the physical act itself. Instead, it focuses on the energy behind it. The whole goal shifts from controlling behavior to finding real, honest, spiritual resonance.
The first pillar of this is called sacred clarity, or chini kala. This is all about having full awareness of what's really being exchanged between two people, on every level, emotional, spiritual, physical. You know that feeling when someone has a hidden agenda or something's just not being said? In this framework, that confusion isn't just awkward, it's seen as dishonoring the connection itself. And that flows right into the next piece of the puzzle, mutual truth, or valukara. This idea goes so much deeper than just consent. It demands that both people are being truthful about what they want, why they're connecting, and what the consequences might be. It means you can't just mask a fleeting craving and call it a deep, meaningful connection.
There's this ancient quote that just nails it, and man, it hits hard. It says, "The thread must never be used like rope. For it is a line of flame, and you will burn if you tie it blindly." Think about that. A thread connects, right? But a rope binds. Using that sacred connection without clarity or truth is literally playing with fire.
Okay, so we've been talking about one-on-one connections. But these ideas of clarity and truth, they don't just stop there. They're actually the building blocks for creating a sacred community. So let's look at how this personal clarity scales up to shape the group.
And the very first step here is to completely rethink what a boundary even is. Because in this framework, they are not walls meant to keep people out. Nope, they serve a much higher, much more loving purpose.
They're described as sacred shields. How cool is that? A shield isn't about aggression, it's about protection. And these shields are literally forged from the good stuff, from love, from clarity, from self-worth, all to protect the sacred thread of every single person in that community.
So what does that look like in practice? Well, it boils down to 3 core commitments. First, no hate speech. Your words have to be used to build people up, not tear them down. Simple. Second, no identity policing. We have to honor that every single person gets to define themselves. And third, no tone shaming. All authentic ways of expressing yourself are welcome, whether it's a quiet whisper or a powerful roar. So what happens when someone messes up? Because, it happens. Instead of ghosting or gossiping, which is so easy to do, the commitment is to face it head on. There are 3 conscious paths. You either try to repair the connection, you release it with clarity and respect, or you redirect the energy. It turns accountability itself into a sacred practice.
All right, now we're getting to what might be the most radical, most important part of this whole framework. Honoring the absolute sanctity of self-definition. This is about creating a space that's a true sanctuary for who you are.
You've probably heard this before, right? In some form or another. But are you really one of us? It's that classic gatekeeping question. It's designed to test you, to make you prove that you belong.
And here's the crucial reframe. The Arreqqana framework says that is not a genuine question, it's a weapon. Plain and simple, it's a tool used to police people's identities and enforce some narrow idea of who gets to be in the club.
So the stance here is crystal clear. This kind of space flat out rejects that kind of violence. It's a conscious, deliberate choice to not pick up and use the same old tools of oppression that have been used to divide people for centuries.
So if you're not doing that, what do you do instead? Well, you practice deep listening. You practice witnessing someone's truth without jumping in to correct it. You mirror their reality to show you see them without trying to mimic it or make it your own. And most importantly, you operate from the core belief that a person's belonging is never, ever up for debate.
So we've gone on a journey here, from our most personal bonds to the community around us, and now we're going to bring it right back home, full circle, to the core of your own self.
I really want you to just sit with this for a second. Let this affirmation sink in. Your sacredness isn't something someone else gives you. It doesn't depend on being in a relationship or being chosen by a group. Your thread, your essence, is already humming with its own truth. It's sacred, whether it's being held by another or standing completely on its own.
And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? This isn't just about learning some cool new concepts. It's about how we live. So after everything we've talked about today, the real question is for you and only you. How will you honor your thread?